If I was to say to you, what does a Detroit Playboy, the FBI, Margaret Thatcher, Dublin, that was a silly mistake, I apologise to all the people of Belfast who spent many years building these cars, a shed load of cocaine, Robert Zemeckis and Steven Spielberg all have in common, it would be what's in this little box here. Happy New Year! Right, if you saw the end of last week's Toy Tuesday, you'll know that this week's Toy Tuesday is going to be this. It is DeLorean, not the DeLorean or a DeLorean, DeLorean Back to the Future 2. Got to be very careful doing that. Back to the Future 2 car. Seagulls! The history behind this car is incredible, almost unbelievable, and has a fascinating story and history, some of which I'm going to touch on in this video. But that aside, what happened next would turn this car into a screen icon, and possibly one of the most unforgettable pieces of car design in history. Maybe not the best, but it is one of the coolest. And if you are going to build a time machine, you may as well do it with a little bit of style. That's a quote from the film. The thing is, how do you make a toy of a movie car even cooler? And the simple answer is to add electricity. I always go quiet when I open one of these up, because every time it gets me how cool the toys are. That is a fantastic toy from a great sequel film. Now, you may have noticed I'm still at home because I'm still testing positive for COVID, but what I wanted to do was start this video here and finish the video off at the shop, because where I'm going with this, I don't need roads, I need track. And that's a sort of quote from the film. So like I say, as soon as I am out of isolation, I'm gonna go to the shop, put the track together, and I will show it you running. Well, it is going a little bit. Here's the thing that's going on in my head. I'm gonna say, if you bought this, would you really run it? For me, the whole point of a Scalextric car is to get it going as fast as you physically can, make it come off the track and chip the skirting board, and then get younger sibling, cousin or partner to go and put it back on the track for you while you continue to race it. So I have a feeling that a lot of these are never actually going to get run, which seems like an awful shame, really. I'm going to take it out of the box and have a look at it. It's not like pulling a 1960s chitty chitty bang bang car out of its box very carefully. I have to apologise to all the lovely people who loved that film and did leave comments. I know I said I'm not a fan of the film, and I'm never going to do that in a video ever again. Right, I mean, this is incredibly lightweight, but it has to be because it's a Scalextric car, but the detailing on it is pretty good. I'm hoping, I'm not 100% sure, I think this has a light up flux capacitor in it as well. Well, my attempts to get this to run on the track today have completely failed. Unfortunately, after many hours of messing around, I've not been able to get this car to run very well on the track. And I think really that's my fault, because it's old track and it's a little bit knackered and it's not been stored properly. What I'm going to do for the future is get some proper decent track for the shop so that we can test these things properly and you can see them working how they should do. Even though just as a static model, this toy is cool enough on its own. Here's what you need to know about this car. For a start, it's lightweight, it's very well made, it's nicely detailed, it does have a light up flux capacitor and front and back headlights, it's magnetised, and with a modern track that has a better runner for this guide than I have down there, this will be great fun to run on a Scalextric track. It is very cool. It is rather fast actually when it does go. I should say I've been trying to get the car to 88 miles an hour, even though the actual car was only limited to 85. But that's Hollywood for you. What I thought I would do instead was give you a quick history of this car. One of the ideas for the time machine was going to be a refrigerator loaded into the back of a truck and driven into a nuclear explosion. But there were several problems with that. One, that they thought kids might start climbing into refrigerators to travel in time and actually freeze to death. Two, because it was really hard to put a fridge in a truck and drive it round and film it, so they thought what they would do is actually make the time machine a car so it was easier to film. They couldn't afford the nuclear explosion effect because the film had gone so over budget. One reason was because they had to replace the main actor in the film with Michael J. Fox because the production just thought it was rubbish. Was it Eric Stoltz? I think it was Eric Stoltz, but I'm probably wrong on that, like I have been with a lot of the facts in this, but I'm sure it's Eric Stoltz. He was replaced by Michael J. Fox. So the effect they used instead was lightning, which was a lot easier and cheaper to do, and they didn't have to build a new set, they could just use the existing set. But by the end of the film, to make it easier to travel backwards and forwards in time, they added the Mr. Fusion reactor on the back there, so that they could just chuck any old thing in and the car was fueled and away they could go into the future, or back to the future. Why is it not into the future? Back to the Future sounds better anyway. So here's a quick and not very accurate history of John Zachary Delorean. John Delorean, as he was better known, was an extremely successful, if not slightly dodgy, American car executive from Detroit who managed to raise enough money to start his own car company, the DeLorean Motor Car Company, and build this rather legendary car. A lot of the money he did raise to build this car came from the British government in a deal that would mean production would be made in Belfast, not Dublin as I said earlier, but Belfast. Sorry about that, the people of Belfast. By 1982, and burning through nearly £180 million worth of money from the British government, plus money from other investors and other dodgy sources, he was bankrupt. Later that year, he'd be caught on video by the FBI with £42 million with cocaine in a massive drugs deal. Somehow he managed to get away with that, and the case was thrown out of court because of entrapment. He was a very, very lucky man, but never the same again, which was a shame. But he did leave behind quite a legacy, and that legacy created an absolutely iconic car of the silver screen. It just makes you want one, doesn't it? If you're enjoying this week's Toy Tuesday, please like and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you have any stories of your favourite childhood toys, please put them in the comment section below too, because I'd love to hear about them. And also, if you want to check out any of my other videos about toy histories, they're on the Collectables channel. Please go and have a look. For now, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you next week for another Toy Tuesday. Not quite sure what it's going to be yet though.